Since the LA Edmonton game is just late, and this is going to take a while to do anyways, I figure, you know what, I'm going to do a preview and then I'll do the review video after, because I work tomorrow morning early, so I'll do this tonight, um, and then we'll figure out whether I upload it tonight or upload it first thing in the morning. I haven't decided yet. I could upload it as unlisted and then publish it in the morning.
You could.
I could do that. All right, but let's go ahead and get things started. The Canucks are in Tampa tomorrow night. Keep in mind I'm recording this on the night of February 7th, Wednesday, so I'm talking about Thursday's games on Wednesday night. So when I say tomorrow night, I mean tonight when you should be seeing this. The Canucks are 21, 26, and 6. Tampa's 36, 14, and 3. Both of them are 5 and 5 in their last 10 games. I just took some interesting stats here, and I only cared about who's in the top 10. The Canucks have a number 9 power play, but Tampa's number 1 in goals for per game. They're number 6 in goals against per game, and they're number 5 in the power play. So Tampa is really loaded up right now. And the Canucks are, I just did a video on Darren Archibald being called up, and what that means for the Canucks is likely some changes and some shifts. We may see as early as tomorrow night some different looks from the roster, and that likely means probably a loss in Tampa. But let's be honest, they showed in Tampa or in Vancouver last week that the Lightning are talent-wise way ahead of the Canucks, and this matchup is lopsided, and I don't have a problem admitting that as a fan of the team. And for Tampa, Boston's getting close. We can all talk about how Tampa's number one, but don't look now. I think Boston's 1 or 2 points back, and Boston's played fewer games than Tampa, so Tampa's got to start. They can't play 500 from here, or the way Boston's playing, they're going to end up being second, and then Tampa would get Toronto in the first round, and that would be bad news, I think, for Tampa, because Toronto really they've got pressure, but not the kind of pressure Tampa's got right now. See, all year we've been hyping up Tampa. Oh, Tampa's going to win. Tampa's going to win. And last season, before the season had started, the idea was, well, Tampa's going to win the Stanley Cup. That was what almost every publication was saying. And then, of course, they missed the playoffs. Stamkos gets hurt. So the expectation is that this year it's going to happen. Is it? Or is this a sign that maybe they're taking a step back? I mean, finishing first in your division doesn't guarantee you a Stanley Cup anyways. It didn't, Pittsburgh didn't win their division last year. It's finishing first is really kind of overrated, but you don't want to be weak entering the playoffs. You don't want to back into the playoffs. I've seen plenty of times where a team will make the playoffs, they coast through the second half, and then it can be really hard to turn it back on in the first round. So, Tampa's got to watch for that. Islanders, they're in Buffalo. So the Islanders 26, 22, and 6. Buffalo 14, 29, and 10. Islanders are 4, 4, and 2 in their last 10. Buffalo's 4, 5, and 1. The only stat where these guys are top 10 in anything, the Islanders, of course, are number 3 in goals for per game. The Islanders can score. They allow way too many shots. The game against Nashville was another example. You can't allow that many shots. Buffalo, maybe they can. Buffalo has trouble putting the puck in the net. Buffalo has trouble winning games. Buffalo just has trouble. And since the successful Western Canadian road swing, it's been a bloodbath for them. So we'll see if we're actually witnessing a fall from grace for the Islanders. Maybe they're falling right out, or not, because Buffalo is. You don't want to say that a team's an easy target, but Buffalo's an easy target. So for them tonight, or tomorrow night, thinking of when I'm going to post this, I guess. Yeah, anyways. Against the Sabres, this is a game the Islanders really need. You got to beat the Sabres. You can't afford to lose the game. But I've been saying that about the Islanders a lot lately. And they've found ways to lose games they shouldn't. And we can all sit and talk about Greiss' horrible save percentage and goals against, but when you're allowing that many shots per game, it doesn't matter if Halak or Grice are in net because you're just not playing the game right to get to or do anything in the playoffs. Buffalo might be a good chance for them to get back on track. Maybe they only allow 25 shots tomorrow night. Maybe they have a nice easy night for, I assume it'll be Halak in net. And maybe everything's going to turn out fine for the Islanders and this is the start of a turnaround. But, I've been waiting for a turnaround from the Oilers too, and it just doesn't look like it's coming. So we'll see. Colorado, 29-19-4. St. Louis, 32-20-3. Colorado, 6-3-1. St. Louis, 6-4-0 in their last 10 games. Number 6 in goals for are those Colorado Avalanche, and they have the number 3 penalty kill in the league, going up against the number 4 goals against in the league in the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis fans have been talking about a lack of offense lately, and the goal support isn't there for Hutton or Allen, and yet St. Louis does have a good attack. I am not overly concerned about it. Do I see them as a Stanley Cup top 4 or 5 contender? Not right now. They definitely need to reverse that quickly. And while Carter Hutton has looked great, I do wonder if, and you have to think about a playoff this way, over a 7-game series, can Carter Hutton win 4? And if your answer is, well, I don't know, that's going to be tough because no matter who St. Louis plays in the first round, it is going to be a tough goaltending matchup. And it is going to be a tough offensive matchup if it's another Central Division team. And for Colorado, they need to win this one because they've pulled themselves back into striking distance, and there are a lot of teams playing tomorrow night that they're competing with for these spots. Go into St. Louis and beat them in regulation. Really start putting the heat on St. Louis and leave it where maybe their GM isn't quite sure what he's going to do at the deadline. Does he want to do a rental? Are they really that close? Does he maybe want to sell off of Paul Stastny and just say, all right, this isn't the year either? Or do you want to say, all right, we're going to go for it and keep him and go out and try to add some pieces? It'll be interesting to see, and it's games like this that are going to force St. Louis to make that decision, whether they're in it to win it or better luck next year, which is a phrase I throw out there a lot, but it's true. Vegas 35-14-4, 4-2 in their current road trip. This brutal road trip. It's been a long road trip. Ends with the 7th game tomorrow in San Jose. San Jose 28-17-8. Vegas 6-3-1 in their last 10. San Jose 4-4-2 in their last 10. San Jose will be very glad to be playing at their friendly confines at home. Vegas, they're number 2 in goals for per game. They're number 8 in goals against. They're 10th on the power play and 4th on the penalty kill. It's funny because just as recently as a couple weeks ago, there was a lot of talk about how Vegas 5-on-5 is lethal, but their special teams are kind of iffy. Their special teams are getting better. So that's bad news for the rest of the NHL. San Jose, they're number 9 goals against per game. They're number 4 on the power play and number 2 on the penalty kill. So 5-on-5, you can beat them. Special teams, probably not. A lot of that has to do with the lethal shot of Brent Burns on the power play and a really, really solid penalty kill. And it's a matter of special teams battle. So you've got Vegas with a couple of decent numbers, number 10 in power play and 4th in penalty kill, as I said, and it's getting better. So that's where I'm going to look for it, because 5-on-5, it could be a bit of a yard sale. We could be seeing 4-4 or 5-5, and then the special teams could be the decider. You could see 2 power play goals for one and none for the other, and there you go. There's your result of 7-5 or whatever it's going to be. And it's funny because I say that because both of them are in the top 10 in goals against average in the league, but based on the fact that 5-on-5 they're really loosey-goosey kind of teams, I could see a lot of goals being in this game because both of them can score. Both teams are capable of scoring. San Jose's not top 10 in scoring in the NHL, but they do have some very good young players, some fast skill guys, and they're capable of putting 5 or 6 on the board in any given night. So it'll be interesting to see how that game turns out. That might be the game of the night tomorrow night. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. Colorado and St. Louis, though, that's probably going to be up there too. And maybe this Chicago-Dallas one I'm talking about, just because Chicago should be pretty ornery right now. Chicago should be in a really bad mood right now, based on their standing in the league. Get it figured out. Arizona. And I know on here it says Phoenix because these magnets I got up on the board, they're stickers from 2011. Because the Winnipeg Jets is the Atlanta Thrashers too. So, yeah, thankfully the Jets don't play, so I don't have to deal with that headache tonight. Minnesota Wild at home against Arizona, so this is your trap game. Arizona 12, 32 and 9. Minnesota 29, 19 and 5. Arizona's 2, 5 and 3 in their last 10. Minnesota 7, 2 and 1 in their last 10. Number 7 power play in the league for Minnesota. No other numbers to speak of in this game, but hey, Arizona's having a miserable season. I don't see that misery ending tomorrow night. Minnesota, I know they've had their ups and their downs, but they've had 20 points in the new year, as I discussed in a video this morning, which means they're playing pretty well. Arizona is not. And I think we've reached the point where we're going to see a move being made or two. And I'll be interested to see if Max Domi's name, and I don't care what management's saying, management's going to say, oh, we have total faith, because you always say that about your players until you trade them. You don't say anything bad about them before or while you're trading them. You just don't do that because you don't want to, be out there selling a guy like, oh, we've got this guy to sell, and then you were trash talking him in the media. Is he really that bad? In this day and age, it's not going to work anyways because, of course, teams scout each other all the time. But I'm just saying, in general, it's bad form for a GM to say, oh, yeah, no, we're looking to get rid of this kid. And I'm not convinced that they're necessarily going to, but it would be a piece they could move that would still have good market value, and I don't think it would hurt their lineup. I mean, look, they're 12, 32 and 9 is really bringing up a kid from the American League right now to take Domi's spot. Who knows? Maybe that kid can score 3 goals in a bunch of games before the end of the year. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. And for Minnesota, they have to keep winning because the Central is made up of the strongest teams in the league. Again, I discussed it this morning where I talked about the 2018 calendar year and who's playing the best, and there's a lot of Central Division teams in that picture. All right, next up, the Flames 27, 18 and 8. New Jersey 27, 17 and 8. Calgary was supposed to be a contender this year. New Jersey was supposed to be an also-ran. Calgary is 4, 2 and 4 in their last 10. Of course, those 2 and 4, that's 6-game losing streak. Remember, out of that 6-game losing streak, they got 4 points. New Jersey 5 and 5 in their last 10. Almost identical records between the two, and yet these are completely different stories. One team, New Jersey, has to be very happy with their standing right now and with their season, and no matter what happens from here, it'll be seen as at least a moderate, if not tremendous success. Calgary, if this continues this way, if they somehow just miss the playoffs, it will be seen as a failure this year. And there will be some finger pointing that goes on. It's a matter of, do you just look at guys like Troy Brouwer? Do you look at anybody on that blue line? Do you look behind the bench? Who do you look at? And for Jersey, things are coming up roses. So it's funny because there is only a 1 result difference. Their point totals are exactly the same. New Jersey's played 1 less game, and that's a game that was lost by Calgary. It's funny how 2 teams can be this close. Their color schemes are similar, and yet here we are talking about one being a rousing success for the most part this year, and the other one being on the verge of either being a failure or meeting expectations. The idea that the Flames would exceed expectations now, probably a long shot at that. The Kings won over the Oilers, which I believe pushes the Flames 1 point behind them. And we'll see how that affects everything for them. And for New Jersey, while the season would be a success, even if they didn't make the playoffs, even if Jersey falls out and finishes like 10th in the East, it's not something guys in that dressing room are going to want. They're at home. They got a Flames team coming in that's looked kind of shaky since their big winning streak. Take advantage, put them down, and take a step towards Washington. Because New Jersey's not that far behind Washington. They really aren't. They're only 5 points back of Washington now, I think it is. Like they're 5 points back of Washington. It's not that far. They can make up that difference if they play really well for the last 25, 30 games of the season. But it's a matter of, can they get back into the swing of things, and how many of their rookies are going to hit that rookie wall at right around the 50-game mark. There are rookies that grind starts to get to them because they may never have played a season like this before, whether it's in juniors, NCAA. They may never have played this kind of a schedule, and it starts to wear them down. This is why rookies will a lot of the time fade in the second half of the season. Montreal in Philly. Montreal 22-25-6. Philly 25-19-9. Montreal's 4-5-1 in their last 10. The Flyers 5-4-1 in their last 10. The only number worth mentioning here is that Montreal's number 8 on the power play. It's an interesting game because this is an old rivalry. And it's an old rivalry, and what I mean by that is it's one that I remember. I remember Bobby Smith and the Montreal Canadiens in the 80s walking down the tunnel to go to their locker room and getting crap thrown at them by Philly fans. I remember, I believe that was the kind of behavior that caused them to put the tarps over top of the entranceways now, so you can't do that. The hatred between the Flyers and the Montreal Canadiens in the mid to late 80s was pretty strong. Ron Hextall took a nice run at Chris Chelios at one point, pretty near decapitated him. For Chelios' sake, he was lucky he ducked out of the way in time. But regardless, this is an old storied feud that's not what it once was. Montreal's not what it once was either. This is not the Patrick Roy-led, Chris Chelios helmed Montreal Canadiens. Philly is no longer that Bobby Clark created team either. But they still have some bite to their game, and Philly is still in a position to get into the playoffs this year. And for Philly, anything other than playoffs, I think will be a tremendous disappointment. Montreal's already there. Montreal's already in the stages of, this has been a very disappointing season, and what do we do? Is this a matter of retool or rebuild? And there's a huge difference between the two. I would think with the amount of young pieces they have up front, it should just be a retool. But with the way that blue line is, I don't know if just a retool is going to do it. You know, we talk a lot about teams that Dahlin. Who needs Dahlin? Yeah, Montreal needs Dahlin. Desperately. Rasmus Dahlin on that blue line would fix a lot of their issues. Having Rasmus Dahlin head-manning the puck to those forwards would allow those forwards to be freed up a lot in those games. Not having that mobility on the blue line, and I'm not just talking about speed, I'm talking about those first passes out of the zone and that offensive-minded defenseman. It makes a big difference not having that in your lineup. Philly, on the other hand, they are rife with tremendous young defensemen, and I do wonder if, say, like a Travis Sanheim might be used as trade bait at the deadline to bring another piece back that they would feel could put them over the top and make them actual contenders in the Metro Division. Look, the Metro's been really bad in the year of 2018. Philly's in a position to really take advantage of that. So maybe this year at the deadline is the time for Ron Hextall to pull the trigger and do something and really shake things up and make Philly that much more dangerous and lethal. All right. Next up, Nashville and Ottawa. Nashville 32-12-8. Ottawa 18-25-9. Nashville 7-1-2 in their last 10. Ottawa 3-7. Nashville, number 8 in goals for, number 3 in goals against, number 3 power play. Nashville's pretty good, but Nashville's coming off a shootout loss tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're going into Ottawa on the back half of a back-to-back, which means I'll go ahead and take Ottawa as my upset of the night. Ottawa's been playing very well. Don't let this 3-7 fool you. They've been playing very well for the last week and a half. They seem to be a little more motivated, and even though this is going to be the first game of Burrow's suspension, Alex Burrows doesn't bring anything offensively anymore to the game. It's not a loss to them that way. There's other ways to get grit into the lineup. I'm not concerned about that. I do think Ottawa, while they're playing for pride, and I think they've been playing well, I think Matt Duchene's playing to save face. Matt Duchene has to know how people see that trade. So at this point, he's got to feel like, you know what, I've got to make this team look good for bringing me in. I've been making them look pretty bad. I've got to do my best, and I've got to pull it together. And the alternative is maybe it took him this long to get into the defensive system that Ottawa plays, and maybe now he's starting to feel more comfortable with it. Either way, Ottawa seems to have turned a bit of a corner, and Nashville comes in off of a kind of a tough loss to Toronto. I mean, they did come back to get that point, but still, they're probably going to be tired by the end of that game. As long as Ottawa plays well off the hop, they've got a real opportunity to win this one. And next up, last but not least, Dallas on the road. 31-19-4. against Chicago at home, 24-21-8. Dallas 7-2-1 in their last 10. Chicago 3-5-2. Dallas number 7 in goals against in the league and number 9 on the penalty kill. Chicago is number 6 on the penalty kill, and there wasn't anything else. They were top 10 in the league. Not enough Chelsea dagger being played in Chicago these days. And for Dallas, since they're on the road, Dallas on the road is not as strong as at home. They're so good at home. Oh, Dallas is so good at home. But this is a fragile Chicago team. And even if Corey Crawford were playing in this game, I would still say, you know what, I think this is Dallas's game to win. Dallas has been playing very solid hockey. I feel very blessed in the 17-18 season, and I'm not saying that to be sarcastic or joke around. I feel very blessed at this point that both Boston and Dallas are having very solid seasons. I had expected Dallas to probably get back in the playoffs. I hadn't expected them to play really solid all-around hockey where their goaltending was good enough. I mean, that's better than last year. Their defense has been really solid, and offensively, they're dynamic. And, with Boston, just, the wins just keep coming. So I feel very lucky this year, and while, yeah, Vancouver's my team too, and it's been kind of a mess. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once said, and tomorrow night, Dallas is going to get their shot at Chicago, and that's a matchup that as recently as last year, I would have looked at and said, geez, I don't know if I want to watch that game, because Chicago's going to kill them. But, Dallas has an even shot tomorrow night, and it doesn't matter whether it's Lettinen, whether it's Bishop, and that's a change from last year, too. I had no faith in Kari Lettinen whatsoever, and this year he's actually played pretty well. So there you go. There's tomorrow night's games, 9 altogether. I work tomorrow morning, but I will be home in time to watch games. And I'll be able to do that on Friday as well. So, fret not. This is just, the way that it is, and my schedule being what it is, it just means I can't do the videos in the morning I normally would. But I can talk to you guys the night before about the games that will take place the next day. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Which games you're most looking forward to, where you see the upsets, and where you don't. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And also, let me know what you guys think about these magnets, because I was very excited to get these stickers when I got them and turn them into magnets, which is kind of a pain. I kind of underestimated just how much of a pain it was going to be cutting around all those. But, it's worth it, because in the end, I think they look decent. But let me know what you guys think. And hey, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.